Welcome back to Watches Tonight here on Watchbox Studios.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Watch Insider. My name is Brian, and thank you for logging on.
Happy Friday, and welcome back to the Trading Desk with me, Joshua Thanos, and
Jason Main. Welcome back, guys.
So, here with my choices from among the most innovative, influential, and outright beautiful designs of the last decade, because this is an emotional hobby, so let's indulge that impulse, throw out engineering, and just make this about design. A matter of the heart, not the head. First, FP Journe Chronometre Bleu. First shown in late 2009, but a 2010 model year watch, so it makes our cut. Can a brand's entry-level watch also be its flagship for the entire line? With all respect to the Sonnerie Souveraine, the answer is an unqualified yes. This watch has sold out every year that's been offered, and you can buy a Journe Tourbillon on demand without a wait, but a Chronometre Bleu order means getting on a wait list, and that's something special. So seductive is this base metal tantalum case and hybrid metallic lacquer dial that the customary show-stealing solid gold Journe caliber is actually a supporting act here, and that's saying something because this thing is an eyeful. Now, I'll also say, how hard is it to build and finish a watch with this particular combo of dial and case? Almost a decade after the late 2009 reveal of the Chronometre Bleu and a golden era of blue dials for the industry at large, no other brand has replicated this thing in order to poach Journe's waitlist, and that's pretty impressive. As an act of craft, finish, and industrial process, this thing is very difficult to copy, and I give Journe a lot of credit for it. Okay, Bethune DB28 2011. This one plays to a smaller crowd, but it's all the more special for its rarity. And one of its distinctions includes a GPHG award jury that voted the DB28 the Aiguille d'Or in 2011, the best picture equivalent at the Oscars of watchmaking, the Grand Prix of Geneva. A 6-day power reserve, proprietary shock protection, proprietary hairspring, balance wheel, all bridges, plates, and the now iconic floating lugs, which of course you can see in one of my old watch videos because that's how I roll, really demonstrated a rare combination of virtuosity in design, ergonomics, and engineering. That's an uncommon combination, especially when you throw in the sheer imagination inherent in this case shape. Ultimately, this design was more spectacular and haunting than influential. Few were bold enough to follow de Bethune's lead, but 7 years later, the DB28 has become the brand's signature, and the basic shape continues to spawn dream watches. For 150 people a year, these will remain a rare pleasure.
here is my water damage patina 21-year-old Panerai 002 #2A. It's a 2A, PAM 002A. I have it on one of the new Panerai blue rubber straps, stainless steel, a 56-hour power reserve, I believe. I had the hands replaced. I still have the original hands. This is, those hands are super luminova, so I can have some lume on the dial. I have preserved the original hands. And a little tang buckle there. I think it's a titanium tang buckle, actually. I have a ton of these. You said you have about 20 Panerai straps?
Easily, yeah.
Yeah, I probably have 40 at this point. It's crazy. I have a bag just full of Panerai straps. It's insane.
Yeah, it's like shoes. They last longer if you have more of them.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and this one's starting to get beat. I had it totally reconditioned probably about like a year and a half ago, and I need to wear it a little bit less because I don't know if I can even get another refinishing out of this watch without having to replace the bezel. So, beautiful piece. You can find a 002, a PAM 002 base model like this. It was only they only made these for about 4 years, from '97 to 2001, I believe. You could find them anywhere between like $4,000 and $6,000. A couple years ago when Panerai was going crazy, you could find these for like 10 grand. But yeah, between like $4,000 and $6,000 is a fair price for a piece like this if you want to get your hands on it. All right, and then here we go, guys. Probably the most valuable piece of my collection currently. I guess my nicest watch, depending on how you look at it. It's a 16622, a Yacht-Master 40 millimeter. This is the original with the old style clasp. It does have solid end links because this was the first watch in 1993 that they came out with solid end links. This one's a 2003, so roughly, I guess you call it a 10-year anniversary, or at least I call it that. Discontinued, even the new model, the 11662, they discontinued the all-platinum dial. Now they have a rhodium and they have a blue. This is my favorite iteration of this watch. This is a watch right now that you can find for probably around $7,000 or so. In the past, you could find them for less than that, but Rolex is so hot right now that the value of this even has gone up. If you remember, we've talked about this in the past. This was released as like a luxury Submariner. That was the idea of this watch, and a lot of the content and technology in this watch made it to the new style Submariners, the 116610s.
Well, first and foremost, we've got a major complication from a weird independent. This is the MCT Sequential S200 American Eagle Limited Edition. How about white gold? How about blackened? That's like cranking the fireplace in Texas while the air conditioning's running full blast in August. Yes, it is a white gold watch that has then been blackened. 44.6 millimeters in diameter. You can see this is the MCT S2 caliber micro rotor automatic 40-hour power reserve. This one doesn't excel by virtue of power reserve, but rather by virtue of theater. And I have to say 40 hours is pretty impressive considering what happens with this watch as you work your way through the hours. Now, exactly 2 hours before the turn, you begin to get a sense of what's going on here as the American flag suddenly becomes blazing at 12. And of course, this is from MCT, the firm founded by Denis Guiguet, he of the impossibly complex Harry Winston Opus 11 that, if I'm not mistaken, has been rarely delivered and only recently. This works a hell of a lot better, as you can see. Perhaps this is the most blatantly patriotic and jingoistic timepiece you can find, but as a one of one, it only needs to find one willing buyer. 44.6 millimeters in diameter with a modular lug design. I'm going to throw this one on my wrist and give you a sense of how it looks.
Yeah, it's a large watch that actually fits reasonably well. And what really struck me about this watch, while it definitely is unique and it is a one-of-a-kind piece, is that with, not a huge amount of innovation in the space as much as I'd like, it's very cool when you see a complication like this come along that's just, very unique and unique to the brand and something that nobody else is doing.
Yeah, Chuck Norris, I found your watch. Where are you, man? Give me a call. This is the American Eagle one of one limited edition MCT S200 Sequential 2. This is an absolute riot on your wrist. This thing is a fireworks show by itself, ready for the next 4th of July. Get an early jump. And by the way, how cool is that box section sapphire? That thing must cost a couple of hundred Swiss francs by itself. The boxier the sapphire, the more expensive. And this one, I gotta be honest, this is a completely different sensibility than the Laurent Ferrier independence of the world.
Yeah,
Not even close.
Panerai Luminor Submersible 1950 3 days automatic PAM 382. The Bronzo, guys. 2011, 1,000 pieces. This was Panerai's first of 3 Bronzos, and easily the only one you saved from the sinking ship. Now, Panerai limited editions blow hot and cold. Some are purely derivative. Most are forgotten, truth be told, unless you look on Panerai's corporate archive. And perhaps once per decade, Panerai launches a watch like the original Bronzo, more than any other watch of our time. This one is the root of the modern fad for bronze cases, bezels, and parts of all descriptions. An incredible synergy between Panerai's core design DNA, none of which is corrupted or lost in this design, and a nautically themed aging material. The PAM 382's bronze case and bezel changes with the owner over time as though it were living tissue, and that's truly special because they were really the first on board with the idea that your watch is going to age and quickly, and that's a good thing. Alongside an olive drab green dial that's a nice nod to Panerai's historic military history, this is one of the watches people will remember, and not just from the Angelo Bonatti era at Panerai, but this era of watch design as a whole. A truly special piece and truly influential by any measure. Okay, Rolex GMT-Master II 116710 BLNR. How do you alter an ageless icon, create a new one, and alienate no purists in the process? Well, Rolex knows how, and Rolex did it in 2013 with this landmark watch. The first ever use of blue on a ceramic bezel Rolex GMT, and the first ever black and blue Rolex GMT of any description.
Can you believe this 2013 watch still has a wait list and that it still sells over retail when pre-owned? After all of that, can you believe that this entire model, the whole thing, all the hype, all the wait listing, and all the price premiums amounts to 1/2 a bezel and the GMT hand? That's all it is. Impressive. If you're going to tinker just a little bit, Rolex got maximum effect from minimum input, and I'm impressed. Sometimes the most powerful design is subtle.
Well, technically, one of these 3 watches has a chronograph.
Oh, so there you go.
But I don't really. So the bottom 3 here.
Oh, look at, by the way,
case-
Eddie Landsberg is writing his dissertation. I like
Yeah.
that.
Here you have the SRP 655, which is a baby tuna. And this is the 50th anniversary edition with the red and black, kind of the faux patina markers. This is a big watch, but because the curvature to the case, which...
That watch is super cool.
Yeah, this watch is very cool.
But some guys on here don't like Seiko, so it's not
the
cool for them.
curvature to the case is the story for this watch. So the whole case, you can kind of see there. And this thing sits really well on the wrist. Bright as a flashlight when it comes to the lume. And date, automatic, just great work hours. I like this watch a lot. And then last week we showed you guys the Patty, which you see in there.
Dude, that's super cool. I like that
This watch is very cool. This is kind of my go-to Seiko. It's pushed out the baby tuna as like a wearer just because of how comfortable it is. And you gotta love a Pepsi type of theme that hits it on both colors. Like nowadays, both the Tudor and the new Pepsi Rolex kind of missed one or the other color, and I think the red and blue on this is perfect. Next one over is a original MTG. This was the first generation MTG, which was kind of like G-Shock's first foray into like $1,000 watch or like a higher end piece. This thing is both satellite and atomic. Wow. So one of the coolest things about this watch is I pull it out of the safe.
It's a bomb?
Yeah, I haven't seen it in maybe like 6 months. I'll pull it out of the safe and it
Cool.
sets itself, which is kind of cool.
That's sweet.
I dig that piece. It's pretty cool. And, oh, one more thing. One of the coolest things about this MTG when it first came out, you guys can see that red lining in there. So this is the same resin that they use to make their watches. So like the
It's the
case
blood of your enemies, Jason.
the case of your watch, that plastic resin, and the band, it's on the inside of these links. So the watch is actually really comfortable on the wrist. It just feels like you're wearing a rubber strap when it's hunkered down.